Show of hands, who as a child said, when I grow up, what I'd like to be as a salesperson? Oh, have some fun with me for a second. Throw some adjectives, some describing words at me that would describe a stereotypical salesperson. Pushy, mean, slimy. Annoying, high pressure. Smarmy. You heard a liar? Woo! Greedy, self-centered. Dishonest. See, if somebody used those words to describe you, somebody saw that in you when they met you for the very first time, how would that make you feel in here? Not good, right? A little bit icky, like yuck, forget that. What though if by alternative I ask you not to describe a stereotypical salesperson, but by alternative I ask you to describe a professional salesperson? How do these adjectives now change? Confident, charismatic, caring. Authentic with integrity. Informative. Trustworthy. I mean, geez, we were a liar a second ago. Empathetic. If somebody saw that in you when they met you for the very first time, somebody used those words to describe you, how are you feeling right now? See it right here in the front row. We're like, yeah, I'm good with that. Please, can you catch two tiny, massive lessons in that exercise? Two tiny, massive lessons. The first is this: being a salesperson is not a bad thing. The perception of being a salesperson is what is the bad thing. What that means is if anybody ever says the words to you that you are a great salesperson, it's highly probably not a compliment. What they're probably saying is stop it now, stop it please. And if you thought I could teach you to be more pushy, more slimy, better at telling lies, wrong room. But if you want to understand how you can help people make smarter decisions faster, so what they say at the end of you helping them is the most important word for us to chase, which is thank you. If you're looking to help receive gratitude more often for helping other people achieve the things they want in their life, then that's exactly what we're here for. But I did say there were two tiny, massive lessons in that exercise, two. And the second is perhaps a touch more profound. See, in that example right there, I just changed one word, correct? I changed us from stereotypical to professional. And when I changed one word, you, my friends, changed all of the words. You saw a completely different picture in your mind's eye as a result of one singular word change. Therefore, could it be possible in the conversations you're having every day with your teammates, with your prospects, with your customers, that they're not always seeing what you're saying? They see a slightly different picture. And the answer to that question is obviously yes. You're going to learn in our time here together today just how pedantic I am about word choices. And we're going to loop back to that a little later today. But before I do so, answer me this question. Salespeople, are they born or made, born or made, born or made? What do we think? Let me rephrase the question. What does a 3-year-old do when they want something? The first thing they do is they ask. Failing that, what do? They ask again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and failing that, what do? Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Who in this room has kids or has been a kid? Somewhere like most of us again, right? We were all born with the innate ability to be able to ask for the things that we want in our life, yet life trained it out of us. Every single one of us in this room has the innate ability to be able to ask for more. Finish this sentence for me. If you do not ask, you do not get, you do not receive. You know that that is true. I will push that stage one level higher. And in fact, your success is in direct correlation to the quantity of quality asks that you make, period. Your success is in direct correlation to the quantity of quality asks. So if we know that if you do not ask, you do not get, and we know that our success is in direct correlation to the quantity of quality asks that we make in our life, what is it that stops us from asking for the things that we want? It's kind of funny. I can ask this question in any language, in any part of the entire world, and I get any one of those same three answers. I either get fear, or I get rejection, or I get fear of rejection. Any one of those three things. And I want to play with this for a second to see if we can reframe some of your thinking. Show of hands, who in this room has been rejected by somebody they care about in the last 7 days? I don't know what it was. Maybe you wanted to go out for Chinese food and they said no thank you. Maybe you said next vacation I'd love to go here and they're like, are you kidding? Maybe you wanted to have fun in the bedroom and they're like, not tonight, honey. I don't know what it was, but you had one idea, they had a different idea, you got rejected. And isn't it interesting in our personal lives, more often than not, we are fine with it. No loss of momentum. Yet in our professional lives, we take it personally. Kind of weird, right? Why? I think I know why. I think it's because in our personal lives, we're 100% sure that they were not saying no to us. They were saying no to it. That's a very different thing. In fact, they probably weren't even saying no to it right now. Like, if my wife wasn't into it this evening, there is no big deal. Why? Because I know for sure, for certain, that chicken and broccoli, spicy noodles, still be in my future. We'll be reunited together again at someday, pretty darn soon. Could it be possible that all the things that you want to happen in your world, in your business, in your life, that are just an ask away, that they might just be saying no, not right now? They might not be saying no to you. They might be saying no to it. Who in this room has spent money on something in the last 12 months they wouldn't have dreamed of buying 12 years ago? Why? Because your circumstances have changed. Other people's circumstances are changing all the time, and you, my friends, are in the business of changing circumstances. The job is to stay front of mind, and what's brilliantly unique and wonderful about that fact is it requires emotional intelligence and people. If that wasn't true, none of you would be necessary. If you want it to be easier, what you're looking for is to be unemployed. What we should be looking to do is interrupt people's day for long enough in the moments that matter to help realize there's a puzzle or a problem that could exist in their world that we could provide a solution that would be remarkably helpful for them when they consider all other options, yours is the best option. That's the job description, right? That's the job description. What about this fear thing? Is fear real, yes or no? I've seen some of you in this room, I know you've done this, and I've seen thousands of corporate trainers do this through the years to try and convince us that fear isn't real. What they do is they make a little training exercise to try and make people feel better, and they take the word fear and they turn it into an acronym, because acronyms help everything, correct? And what they do is they put it up on a flip chart. You say you shouldn't be scared because do you know what fear really is? And they run to their flip chart and it's a F and an E and an A and an R, and they say, you know all that fear really is? It's false evidence appearing real. I must have seen this like a gazillion times. And the best I can think is, dang, that's cute. Be real for a second. Have you ever been scared, like genuinely scared? And could you imagine somebody giving you that advice? And for it to be in any way helpful? You know what I see, though, in this industry when faced with fear? Very much by alternative. What I see in this industry when faced with fear, particularly in markets like right now, what I see in this industry when faced with fear is I see F everything and run. How do I not do this? How do I just hide behind my computer? How do I do anything other than speak to people? It must be somebody else's fault. It's definitely not mine. True or true? True or true? Rejection is part of the game. Fear is too. Let's see if we can reframe some thinking about fear. Anybody in this room remarkably good at something that once upon a time they were a little bit scared to do? If that is true, what else has to be true is that fear is the fertilizer of growth. It has to be true. If you're not a tinsy bit scared, you're probably not growing. If you're not doing things that test you, then you're going backwards. I've had the privilege of working in over 60 different countries. I've trained more than 2 million people around the world. I've worked in over 800 different industries. I found out something remarkably insightful. Here's what I found out to be remarkably insightful. Nobody knows what they're doing. Approximately 0 people have any idea what they're actually doing. There is no right, supposed way to do anything. People are doing the best they can, when they can, with what they've got to achieve what they've decided that matters. That's it. So when you live in fear of doing it the right way, the perfect way, the absolute brilliant way, or you think you're supposed to have it figured out, just keep trying, live a lifetime trying to figure it out and understand you're never going to figure it out, and that's okay. But I'm hoping that what we've done a little is just reframe some thinking around fear and rejection. Because fear is the fertilizer of growth and rejection is part of the game. They're not saying no to you, they're saying no to it. They're not saying no to it, they're saying no to it right now. Which brings me probably to the most important lesson that I came here to share with you today. The most important lesson that I came to share with you all today is... Oh yeah, that's it. When is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say? It's right in the very moment when you're saying it, right? That is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say. Ever found yourself in a moment that matters and you've found yourself lost for the words? Ever walked away from a moment that matters and thought, who on earth was that idiot? With the person you were talking about being oneself? It is almost impossible to debrief a conversation and change it. What you could do, though, is pre-brief that exact same conversation and change it significantly. I said I'm pedantic about word choices, so much so that I did write this little book about them. It's a book I'm insanely proud of, and I'm proud of it for a good number of reasons. But one is it's like a genuine bestseller. We've now sold like approaching 3 million copies all around the world. This little book right here, 35 different languages. It even outsold 50 Shades of Grey and Harry Potter for one whole day. You take your wins, I'm taking mine. This is how this is going. Why do I tell you it's a best-selling book? It's because I learned that people are good at buying books. I repeat, they're good at buying books. What are they not so good at doing? And then taking action on what lives inside the work. So I figured if I could write the biggest tiny book possible, cram it full of ideas around influence and persuasion that people could absorb simply and easily, put them into practice and get them to work in their own world, chances are they might read it. If the font's this big and there's this much white space around it and they get through it in an hour, they're almost certainly going to read it. And then they might take action, and then they might put things into practice, and then they might get results, and they do because they know that they do, because every day somebody writes to me to tell me that's true. However, what we rarely get the chance to be able to do is to explain what's really inside this book. It's a book full of what I call my magic words. And what magic words are words that talk straight towards the subconscious brain. Subconscious brain is powerful in the decision-making process because it has a yes output and a no output. There is no maybe in the subconscious. In your industry, people think that no is the enemy of yes. It isn't. Maybe is the enemy. Indecision is the enemy. Think about how many people you've spoke to that almost could have potentially, perhaps, maybe moved forward. If more of those were like heck yes or hell no, and you had momentum, what difference would that make to your business, to your life? Whew. So if you can talk to the part of the brain that is fundamentally more decisive, then what you can do is you can increase the rate of action. And if you can increase the rate of action, you can then in turn increase the rate of transaction. It is that easy and is that hard. Still confused about the subconscious brain? I'll give some examples of where maybe it served you. Does anybody remember like a familiar car ride? Where you remember getting into the vehicle in the morning, and then you remember arriving at the destination, and you have zero idea how you got there? That was the subconscious brain that took the drive. Don't worry though, if anything unusual happened, bang, conscious brain would come in, grab the wheel, you'd be back in control. It's like a human autopilot. Still confused about this subconscious brain thing? See it as nothing more than the little voice inside your head. That's all it is, a little voice inside your head. And anyone sat here right now thinking that they haven't got a little voice inside their head? That's the little voice.